Diamonds are forever. Flows on open and caresses.
Hi everyone, this is AFCRDTV and welcome to highlights of Beaconsfield SYCOB against AFC Rushden Diamonds from the Southern League Division 1 Central on Saturday afternoon. Diamonds were on something of a high following their excellent win at Aylesbury last weekend. Although it would be the home side to gain the lead, Lee togged well from a corner, 1-0 to Beaconsfield 5 minutes in. Diamonds had claims for a penalty here waved away as Tom Lorraine went down in the box. And that was the end of the action for the first period. Half time, Beaconsfield 1, AFC Rushden Diamonds 0. And things would go from bad to worse for the Diamonds just a couple of minutes into the second half, and Richard Bunting for the Diamonds sliced his clearance into the back of the net for an own goal. 2-0 Beaconsfield in the 50th minute. Matt Finley did his best to keep the Diamonds in it with a number of good saves, including that one there. But the game was effectively put to bed in the 58th minute as Callum Bunting headed home the third. And then to put the gloss on it, Sam Deadfield with a lovely left foot shot. Finley helpless, 4-0 in the 68th minute. The closest really the Diamonds got was this cross, which at least was on target. A bad day at the office then for the Diamonds. Full-time Beaconsfield SYCOB 4, AFC Rushden Diamonds 0. Diamonds stay top of the league though, and Diamonds are next in action on Tuesday evening at home in the Hillier Cup semi-final against Brackley Town.
I'm here at Beaconsfield after a disappointing 4-0 defeat. Andy, a week's a long time in politics, well, a week's a long time in football as well. You couldn't see that coming?
No, nothing surprised me in football, John. I've been in it a long time, but no, obviously this time last week we were really pleased with the performance and the result, and today we're the complete opposite.
I'm not sure the highlights of the game, but let's start with your team selection. You left Luke in fact, virtually the same team. Yeah, it was the same team as last week because I thought we were excellent last week from start to finish, front to back. Saw no reason to change it, so yeah, went with the same 11. They started off brightly and they got that early goal. I mean, there was nobody marking in that first goal.
No, it was a block up. It was a well-worked corner. Someone got blocked off, and so it meant a free header. So that's what you get. We've scored plenty like that set piece ourselves, but you know that's still early days. You've got to bounce back from that, haven't you?
And so we did get back in a bit. We had a couple of good moves, but they got back on top again.
First half we're talking still. Yeah, no, we had a little bit of play, not a lot. Shanks had one shout, which I thought was a penalty, to be quite honest with you. But apart from that, I thought we mustered very little.
And I suppose we were fortunate to go in 1-0. It could have been worse. Yeah,
no, said that at half-time. That was the only positive for me at half-time, was that it was only 1-0 because Finners had made some good saves. We'd rode a luck a little bit, and we was, 1-0 going down the slope. We were still in the game.
And that was your half-time team talk?
There was a lot said at half-time that I wasn't particularly happy, but the positive we took from it was only 1-0. We've got 45 minutes to get back in the game.
I suppose the most disappointing thing for the fans was there didn't seem to be any reaction. No,
I mean, I apologise to the fans today because we had quite a lot here, and that was embarrassing today from me as a manager. I just said that to him there. That's not what I'm all about. Lack of passion, lack of belief, lack of desire, things that I'd like to tick, and that was not good enough anywhere over the pitch today. So yeah, the fans for me, quite rightly, were disappointed because they never had a shot. I don't think we had a shot on goal, and that's just not good enough. They were better than us in every department. We were, credit to Beaconsfield, but no, we're better than that, and we were not at the races anywhere today.
But that is probably the best footballing team we played this season. Yeah,
I mean, they were good at our place, but you know what I mean, funny, we've got to be better than that, haven't we? They're not that good, because if they were that good every week, they'd be top of the league. So you have to have a plan or work even harder to stop them playing their football. We didn't do that. We didn't work hard enough, and when we got the ball, we weren't good enough with it. I think decision making was terrible. We didn't keep the ball, we didn't play it in the right areas, and I don't think we ticked any boxes positively today. Not very often I've said that in the 4 years since we've been going. With Starms and myself, that's by far the worst we've played.
Yeah, I don't think that goalkeeper needs to wash his kit.
I wouldn't have thought so. I didn't know they had a goalkeeper.
In fact, it was quite ironic, which is Ollie had a shot in the last 5 minutes. I think that was the first shot on target.
Yeah, no, I heard them cheers, and like you said, the supporters were entitled to that because they've come down here in good numbers, and they all know you can always play well every week, but that weren't good enough, and it was ironic that we didn't have a shot, and like you said, it was difficult to pick many positives out of the game, full stop.
So tell me about the substitutions, the thinking there.
Yeah, we thought we'd get Jack on to balance it up. I thought Jack's energy and desire would be quite good and might just be good for us. To be fair, I thought Dell and Bully played quite well first half, so I couldn't really put him there. Luke was struggling a little bit, so we thought we'd put a natural left-sider on to clip some balls. That was the thinking of that.
And Claudio came on, but didn't seem to be effective.
Not particularly. We didn't think Hawley was doing particularly well, as a lot of others weren't. So we thought Claudia might give us something a little bit different. Just said there, to be fair, the 3 boys who come off were no worse than the ones who stayed on, to be honest. I could have took any of them off pretty much today at certain periods. So that's football. You make decisions. Sometimes they work. Today, it didn't make any difference whatsoever, to be honest.
I know you've been around in football a long time. You know, the next game is the most important thing now.
Yeah, no, we have to bounce back. I've been in it a long time. Football, you just think you've got it cracked. You know, we go to some terrible pitches and play some good football, and I think people come here today and thought, oh, this is all right, we'll be able to pass it around here, this is proper football, and we didn't do the horrible stuff, did we? So, term of phrase, it bites you on the arse, does football. Just think when you think you've cracked it and you've got it sorted, it does that to you. That's why we love the game. It gets ups and downs, and I've said along, it's all about how you bounce back, because you get these setbacks. We've had them before. Today, you know, at the end of the day, it's 3 points. So 3 points to 3 points. There's loads more to play for. We've got to dust ourselves off and go again starting Tuesday night, because if we play like that against Brackley, we'll need Abacus, I would think.
Does that change your thinking for Tuesday?
Not really, no, because we're limited with squad selections. We've got 2 or 3 who can't play, so it won't particularly change my selection. I'll calm down tonight and have a long think about it tomorrow, and we'll pick a team Tuesday. It's a game I want to win.
And next that becomes even more important, at home to Ware and then Ardsley on the Tuesday.
They're all big games, aren't they? We said that today. The thing is, when you're doing well, over the last 3 or 4 years, every game's been a big game. We've had no dead rubbers, really, which for managers the way I want it to be. But yeah, next one's next Saturday, a massive game. But they're all big games. They're going to be 15 big games, I think, between now and the end of the season. You've got to make sure we're up for it and put on a better display than we have today.
I think it's also the fans need to get some reality after Wednesday night, when everybody thought promotion was a done thing. It isn't, is it? Well,
I did say that Wednesday. So I've been in it a long time. I understand football. Football's not done and dusted till the end. We've got a lot of tough games to play. There's a lot of good teams in this league. There's not much between the top half and the bottom half. We know that. We've been in it. So I'm a realist. We're going to have to play some good football, certainly a lot better than today, to maintain where we are.
Andy, I appreciate your honesty. Hopefully it'll be better on Tuesday night.
I hope so, mate. Thanks ever so much.
Thanks, Andy. I'm here at Beaconsfield with man of the match, Tom Lorraine. I know it's very difficult when we lose 4-0 to be man of the match, but you worked very hard today.
Yeah, you know, work as hard as I can, but it's just disappointing, the result. It's one of those days. Nothing's really gone for us, but that's no excuse. They were a lot better than us, and they beat us quite rightly so, 4-0.
They're a good team, aren't they? They pass the ball well, young team, and lots of energy.
Yeah, they're exactly that. They're a young side, very lively, like to pass the ball, lots of movement, and I don't think we were ready for it today. I don't think we wanted it enough, to be brutally honest.
And that's after last week's performance at Aylesbury and the game against Northwood away before that. A totally different performance. Yeah,
we've been excellent the last few weeks. You know, scored lots of goals, not really conceded, and perhaps that brought a false confidence for everybody that we can just turn up. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't think that's the mentality of the lads, but something wasn't right, obviously, and we went from the heights of the last couple of weeks to a really disappointing performance today, and it's not like us.
I suppose first half they scored early. Did you think it was a penalty for the equaliser?
I thought it was a stonewall penalty, to be honest. I can't say too much about the referee, I suppose, but you don't get any more obvious, do you? Everyone can see it on the highlights. It's blatant, but okay.
But anywhere on the pitch, you would have given it, probably, wouldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I said that to him. I think he knew he'd made a mistake because he wouldn't answer my questions. He kept telling me to go away, and you know, if he had a good excuse, he would have told me. But yeah, exactly. If that's in the middle of the pitch, that's in the centre circle. It's a free kick straight away.
Yeah. But I suppose, you know, we can't use that as an excuse. We could have been more than 1-0 down at half time. What did Andy say at half time, or is that unrepeatable?
Well, it was constructive at half time, to be honest with you. You know, we were 1-0 down, I think, at half time against Bedford, and we came out and we bossed it in that game and beat them 2-1. We wanted a similar response today, but it just didn't happen. It was constructive at half time. It was not so constructive at the end. Everybody deserved to be told what was going on. It wasn't acceptable. But we'll come back. We'll come back bigger and stronger.
What happened on the second goal? Were you down in the area? Was it an own goal, or did it just come off the keeper?
No, I think the lad scuffed it from the corner, and I think Bunce has swung his foot to try and clear it, and it's, I don't know whether it's hit a bit of this mud or something. It's just gone underneath his foot. It didn't bounce. It stayed quite low, to be fair, and it's just caught everybody out, expecting him to clear it, obviously, and it's just nestled in the near post. But I think it's one of those days when things goes against you. That kind of thing happens when you're winning 4-0. That gets cleared quite easily. So
let's put that behind us and look ahead. I mean, Tuesday's very important against Brackley, but where next Saturday even more important?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we want to keep the league run going. If you can ever lose, you know, today it's probably a good loss, if you can put it that way. It teaches us a lot of lessons. You know, we're not unbeatable. We're you know, we've got to turn up. We've got to have the right attitude. We've got to play to our strengths every week. Otherwise, results like this will happen. You know, we'll get through. We'll get through Brackley. That's going to be a very tough game on Tuesday night, and then, you know, we'll be prepared for Saturday. Things will change. Things will change. We'll be a lot better.
I know the fans were disappointed. I suppose you want to make them a bit happier next week. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, everyone. You know, we have a fantastic number of fans come and watch us each week, and it's disappointing for them as it is for us when we don't win. But you know, on the other flip side of that, coming into this game, we were top of the league. So you know, we need everyone to stick behind us and till the end.
Tom, thanks very much for coming out and talking to us. I know it's difficult, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
No problem. Cheers,
I don't need love.